Hello friends, I'm Colonel Failure, and this is Transport Fever with the North Atlantic map. You are joining me today, just sat outside Chicago, where the big boy is coming in with a full load of fuel. I know there's a sinking feeling going on amongst some of you, and you kind of go, oh, not more of the flipping fuel line. Really? I'm going to turn up and watch the fuel line today. Yes, indeed. We're back on the fuel line again. And that's because after the redevelopment of Berlin and the rest of the good goings on in the recent live stream, I've had a look around at at what still needs to be done. And while I've got a couple of cities that require connecting, we'll get to those, but I want to build up a couple of major distribution centres, both for goods and to finally conquer the notion that accompanied the start of this series, which was that we would have a single point of depot to serve both the North American side of things and the European side of things. And so I want to get that underway because that was an initial goal. Hold on, there we go. See, look, there we go. All right, so no, look, I can make this sound natural. And since I've just finished paying off the loan, how about we get on with that now? Stay tuned. Now, before we look further afield, we're still outside Chicago here. I just wanted to acknowledge the comments from the last couple of times that have said, like, hey, if you were to bring this all oil back on your big boy, you would be making profit in both directions. And indeed I would. There's no doubt about it. The only downside to it is that by doing so, I would be cannibalizing the existing oil line up here, which I need to keep running because this is making cash in both directions as it sends stuff out to be shipped overseas. In fact, where's that one going? It's going to Dublin. Why is there not more fuel on board the Dublin vessel here? There's plenty of stuff waiting. Well, okay, maybe I need to pay attention a little more to that in the future. Yeah, so it's a case of, do I want to cannibalize what I've got already, or add, in the sake of beefing up the big boy, or do we sacrifice the existing profit run, which, let's face it, is not the most efficient, given that I'm running 2 trains in order to keep up with demand. So it's on the evaluation list. But the main thrust, the main purpose that we have upon us today is getting rid of this curvy station, which I realise has not been around very long, and setting something up that can also service the food supply that we've got going on out here. The idea will then be that we can distribute both food and fuel from one destination. Now, it may be that I need 2 stations rather than 1 in order to hit both of these. I mean, it would be tremendous if I could get them both off 1, but I think we've measured this before. In fact, I am 100% certain that we've measured this before. No, that's really not what I was going for there. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's near enough. And then a bit like that. And then just give me a good station and go wallop. Yeah, see, I've done this. This is something I've tried. And you need to go to there to capture the oil, or here to get the goods. Well, it's no bad thing per se, because what we can do is at least run everything down one set of tracks. Now, before I get to that, I do need to upgrade this station to hopefully have 8 tracks. And it's just going to do that without making any kind of a fuss, which I think is jolly civilized of it. We'll high speed the track as well. There we go. Yeah, do it. There we go. Right. Although arguably that's money poorly spent. Or is it? It depends where the trains are going to go, really. I want to be serving more fuel out to other countries other towns by ship. That's something that I can do relatively easily. And in fact, I might even no, I'm not going to do that first. We'll do that last. We'll do that when everything else is set up. But I do want to replace the truck line that I'm currently supplying Port Nelson with trains instead. And I also want to, increase the number of tracks we're running out of the fuel processing station in order to flow things through a little more smoothly. But in addition to that, I'm going to set up the track first, but we need a station here, and it will also need all 8 platforms in order to distribute food. I think I do want to get rid of this station. Intriguing. Okay, right. Well, look, we've got best part of 10 million quid in the bank. No time like the present. There you go. That's standing into my standard policy there, which is the second you decide to do something, don't agonize over it, just get on with it. Just get it done. Right, there, get rid of all of this. Right, now then. I do have my entire loan balance available. So while I could unpause in order to make this happen, I think I'll stay on pause for as long as possible, so that I can then sort out both the depoting and the distribution in one go. No, steady on. Right, that should just about do it. So what I need is the ability to bring multi-tracks out from here around this corner onto the main line while having multi-tracks available there. So we could go with this first station having, I don't know, 2 or 4 lines that trains just pass through, but that seems awfully wasteful. And I'm not thrilled at the prospect. But I also want to get as far away from the refinery as I can get while still being able to connect with it, for reasons that I hope will become evident. No. That's it. Right. So let's try here. Give me the beef. Give me the works. Give me the lot here. Right. We'll have all of that. So if we start out like this, that is in range. That's not bad. Should make it fairly easy. We want a small amount of curvature on there. Yeah, you see, that's the bee's knees. Maybe a little bit more curvature. That's like, all of the bees' knees of all the bees. Something like that would probably do the trick. Now, the real challenge is going to be getting under the bridges in Port Nelson, because obviously I'm going to run all of these lines up there. There you go. I'm taking that. I've accepted. Yeah. Okay. So look, we've got a bunch of lines, and obviously this being North America, we're going to run diesels like there's no tomorrow. I mean, to be honest, this bridge isn't really accomplishing much at the moment anyway, aside from making it more challenging for me to get this done. All right, let's get rid of the bridge. Get rid of these. Yeah, do we want to do that? I suspect we do. You know what? Yeah, no, look, let's wrecking ball. Yeah, just, demolish the lot. Now, the placement was good, but I want to also take into account a possible passenger route. Because Port Nelson's never going to grow if we don't start hauling up some passengers. Now that arguably is a little on the large side for what we're trying to do here. So I think 3. If we look at 3, keep it straight, twizzle it round. That's a good 3. And then what we can do is we can stick the additional lines that we need. Or the additional, actually I don't need it to be 400, 240 will be plenty, given that it's only going to need to shuttle goods relatively locally. Let's bring the contour map up, not the contour map, the zone map. It's a map, it's got zones on it. Right, let's whiz a bit of road, something like that, which I probably had already. I probably deleted all of the roads and what have you that would actually have made this relatively easy in the last minute or so, but you know, there's no sense in you know, repenting on your spilt milk. There you go. Right, that's nice. If that would connect as well without making a fuss, one building will be removed. I don't want one building to be removed. How do you feel about medium? There we are. Good. Right. Nice. And a bit of that as well, and a bit of this. You're utterly redundant there, friend. Good. So we want to run 5 tracks down here. Yeah, I know. Count them. And we want to put the station in first, otherwise we're going to have them in the wrong place. So that wants to sit there. Look at that. Yeah, oh yeah. Look at the catchment area on that is a humdinger. Now I need it to the ideal catchment area. Now not only takes on your freight, it also deals with the other thing as well. Commercial. Yeah. So I'm planning on this leading to receiving food and goods and all the other nice bits and pieces that can be manufactured. And wait, don't go anywhere yet. I've got an even more wizard scheme that you're just going to, you know, hold your head in your hands and go, this man has not thought this through. Right. So if we do a bit of that. What are you thinking here? Yeah, no, okay, no, all right, I'm still on board. Okay, yeah, that's quite cool. You might go, why is that cool? And I'll go, I'll show you in a minute. I'll show you in a minute. In a minute, I will show you. Right, so we've got 4 tracks coming out of here. The final one is going to be a straightforward turnaround, and that will be for deliveries to Port Nelson from the distribution area up here. That's the scheme, but that means, yep, 5 tracks. So one dedicated track that, you know, it almost won't need any kind of special treatment at all. It's going to just be completely isolated from the rest of the network. Bit like that. We'll do a bit like this. Although, all right, we'll catch it. We'll figure that out on the corner, I reckon. Okay, right now. So we got one station here that will merge down into 4 tracks that head down in that direction, possibly even 2, but 4 is sufficient. Given the new station position, it means that I can soften this corner a little more, so that we can come in with the oil on this inside radius here, which then won't need connecting any further because that's incoming supplies only. Now, when it comes to food, we've got the shuttle that will go between these 2, and then the delivery out. Now, the delivery out, I'm going to want to take round here with some kind of, oh my god, that's complicated, merging system. At which point it goes, you know, flying further afield, and then do I want an interstitial? I wonder. No, I'll use trucks. I'll use trucks for that. And then we'll have an international goods airport as well. You know, you wanted to see something convoluted. You've come to the right place. Right, let's separate those again because we don't need them. Right, and obviously I'm not going to get all of this done today. So consider this a part 1 of as many as it takes. I've got 109 million quid available to me. More if I unpause the game, and we can make, we will make this work, and it will be a thing of glory. Yeah, that's better. A bit like that. Now you will notice that I frequently, well, hold on, you know that bit like that you said you'd done. That's wonky there. You don't want wonky. But anyway, I don't know what I was going to say is you will notice that I do this on a regular basis. And as much as I'd figure you are an astute enough viewer to understand the thinking behind it, but just for the sake of clarity, what I'm doing here is I try and build a lap around the whole of the outside of each factory, goods source, whatever you wish to call it, that I make use of. The reason for this is, why are you doing that? is it gives me maximum coverage for attaching stations and truck stops and that kind of thing. So basically, it means that I have the closest perimeter to the main entrance of the thing for if I want to attach some kind of goods distribution facility. Also, I happen to think it looks good, so you know there is that too. Right, and a bit like that. There we are. Right, smashing. Get rid of those. Right, okay, so that's that is the food processing plant. Food itself comes from over there. It's gonna, I mean, that's gonna be up here in no time flat, and that will be grand. Now, all of that was, of course, a mere diversionary tactic while I would think about how the heck am I going to do this station. We've got the same problem between these two that we had at those two there, is that I can't get them close enough together to catch them both. We are going to want a bit of curve on here. We're going to want a lot of curve on here, okay. Maybe a bit like, zoom it right out, there we are. That's not bad, maybe slightly less. There we go. Now we could plonk it right there, or I could get I could probably go this way a touch, which may or may not make life easier. But the big trick that I still need to figure out how I'm going to pull off is setting up my my depot Grand, the Grand depot. We could go, you see, you could, you know, pay attention to what you were just talking about and stick it over here. And don't get me, it's all right, it's the wrong place for it, but this is more about thinking where are you going to stick a massive depot complex. Because while I may not launch trains very quickly, I have rather had enough of you know, slinging up 20 grand's worth of depot and just, you know, putting some really half-baked track in there to try and get the thing rolling. So if we want, let's have another look. Okay, fine, right. So I want that. And I appreciate that all I'm doing here is ever so minutely changing things, but hopefully the end result will be worthwhile. That's not right. We're going to need more bend. More bend. Okay, right. I've had a plan B occur to me. Stick that in there. Now, I mean, this one isn't even being used to start with. This is, you know, this is a lady in waiting. It's got time before it needs to start producing, but we will get it hooked up now. Although saying that, you've made a rod for your own back there a little bit. I mean, it's barely worth using trains for this particular job. A couple of people said, how about making a train long enough so that the front and the rear are effectively in the same station, or rather the front and the rear are split in between two stations. And you kind of go, well, yeah, I mean, it's certainly doable. The suggestion was we do it here, right? So that the oil and the refinery, that the stations are that close together that you know, why not just have them connected effectively? And it's sound thinking. However, that's not what's going to work. But it might actually be sensible to do for this farm. Right, you go a little bit further, and then we'll bang in our one down the side here. Well, I don't want to plough under any fields unless I have to. I don't even think that makes a difference. But right, what are you going to be? You're only going to need to be 240, and we are only going to need to be one track and pretty straight. Flip it around. Yeah, you see, I mean, this is a 10-minute turnaround, if that. It's going to be completing a lap every 3.5 seconds. About about there, maybe. And I mean, there's loads of room to expand into, so I'm hardly cutting myself off in the future. Which of these tracks is going to be the biggest pain to navigate? I think this inside one. So if we line up with the inside line there, then that should do the trick. All right. Well, let's do it. There we go. Come out as far as it there-ish. There-ish? There-ish. Thereabouts. You know what? I'm going to make this a little bit longer. We'll go for the 320 despite the fact that we don't need it. Oh, crikey, the 320 is quite long. Well, we'll stick with the 240. The odds that we need longer than that are pretty slim, and if we do, I'll just relay the thing. You see, that's not made it any easier, so let's just get rid of a couple of chunks of this, and then bang in the 320, and like you were saying. Not that it makes a massive difference which one we go for. That looks pretty much spot on from the get-go. That looks less spot on. All right, we had it before. There you go, right about there. Magnifico. So yeah, so there you go. I mean, that literally is. I mean, this is a, if ever there was a job for an Alco, that was it. That's your Alco little shuttle route there, and then we'll replace it with something slightly more dramatic as time goes on. Now, for my next trick, I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to do this. No, that's not true. I've got a very vague idea how I'm going to do it. All right, and then one more of those. And actually, I think I might use this one as the guide rail. There we are. Now, where am I going to stick this depot? Now, if I stuck it around here, so I mean, it's going to be big. It's going to end up with, I don't know, a lot of parallel track. The perfect place to put it would be, to extend these out a bit and stick a depot at the end of each one that is not going any further. But that doesn't help over here, and it doesn't help this bit either. So, none of these get helped out. So what we want is a depot that, excuse me, with a little more work, I can also use to service the passenger routes that we've got down there, which means it's going to need to be in the middle of the map. To a degree. Let's just whiz it forward by a bit just to get this chap out of the way. And that'll do it. Oh, and we've got an extra couple of million in the bank as well. How delightful. Right, so some form of depot complex. Now, there are two schools of thought here. One of which is the wrong one of which is less wrong. Here's the one that I traditionally do is I will stick depots in parallel with the track and then merge them on in that fashion. So if I was doing a set of depots that would work for trains going in either direction, I'd have one on this side of the track and then one on the other side facing in the opposite direction. So it didn't matter which way you came from, you could still get to a depot. But I think that's a little too mundane for this epic conquest. So I think what we'll do here is we're going to get a whole bank of them up here. And the reason that I'm building them so far away is I appear to have committed to that, is because and a bit like that. So why have you built them so far away? Come on, finish your sentence. Stop concentrating and finish a sentence. You can do two things at once. You can talk and shadow's awkward, and do the rest of it all at the same time. What's your problem? The reason I'm building them over here, I've forgotten. I had one, but it's gone. Honestly, since concentrating on trying to put these in a relatively straight line, I have completely forgotten my thinking as to why I was going to do that. So there you go. It makes sense, right? I think it's a pretty good rationale. Right. Okay, good. Do we want 4? Do we want 8? I think 4 will probably do the trick. And we'll lay down some extra decoration and the like when we come to plumb these in later. But that will wrap it up for this episode. A little shorter than usual, but I want to keep you on your toes, and I want to keep these coming along thick and fast, or thick and fast, depending on your preference. So please chuck a like at this one if you enjoyed it. I'll be back very soon with the next thrilling installment. And to make sure you don't miss out, why not subscribe and then thump the notification bell as though the Pope had just died. And not that that's some of the Pope's like. That's a very strange thing to say. I know it's the first thing that came to mind. Anyway, do that. I'll be back very soon. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.